Hey guys, welcome to your out of this world music experience for the week. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, and we are going on a tour of the planets. Here we go. You first need to get your resources. And as you notice, we have 4 days now instead of just 3. Today, Tuesday, May 5th, we are going to go to Mars. And then I included a coloring glyph if you wanted to do it. You can either print this up or I think it moves. Nope, I'm wrong. It moved when I did it. Next, we're going to go to Venus, and there's a coloring one for this. Thursday is Mercury, and then Friday is Jupiter. So let's get ready to go on a journey to the planets. Now, this is a really fun thing because I love this. Oh my gosh, I can't think of what it is. I love this suite of the planets. And it's perfect because yesterday, May the 4th, was Star Wars Day, as in May the 4th be with you, ha ha ha. And so Mars and the planets, here we go. Here we go. The planets is an orchestra suite, which means that it's a collection of movements composed by Gustav Holst. It was composed between 1914 and 1916. Gustav Holst was born September 21st, 1874 in England, and he died May 25th, 1934, also in England. And that would put him in the more modern 21st century composers. And so what that means is that he and other composers would give more of the names of their songs. They wouldn't just say Symphony Number 1 in G major or whatever. They would give it actual titles. So what they did was, he wrote about the planets, so he named it The Planets. It's one of his best known and most successful works, but he did write other several compositions. But we're going to talk about what was going on in the world at that point in time to kind of give you an idea of what was going on. It was World War I. The Panama Canal was built, and the theory of relativity from Einstein, and the death of the passenger pigeon. World War I lasted from July 1914 to November 1918. It was the first global world war. At the time, they didn't know it was going to be, there was going to be a second one. So at that point in time, they just called it the Great War. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Over 37 million lives were lost across the world. It's the 5th deadliest conflict in history. And the first shots were fired by the Austro-Hungarians. The Panama Canal opened in 1914. It was completed after 10 years of construction. It is about 48 miles in length, connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. And today, the Panama Canal serves great purpose in world shipping. They don't have to go all the way around South America. They can cut kind of through it. It's like a shortcut. So the story about why Holst composed the planets. In 1913, he traveled to Spain with an astrologer, that's somebody who studies the stars, Clifford Bax. On the trip, he explained to Holst the concepts of astrology. And then on his way back home, he began creating a series of mood pictures. His mood pictures was influenced greatly by two other major composers of the time, Arnold Schoenberg and Igor Stravinsky. Now, Schoenberg had composed a work in 1909 titled 5 Pieces for Orchestra. Holst had gone to a performance of this piece the same year he began writing The Planets. More than likely, this performance is what inspired Holst to write The Planets into an orchestra suite. Maybe Holst was planning on writing 1 or 2, but he decided, hey, I'm going to make a bunch of them and put them all together. Stravinsky had recently released The Rite of Spring. This work inspired Holst to use the orchestra in weird, unconventional ways. And The Rite of Spring was definitely considered unconventional at the time. Now, people might think, nah, no big deal, but back then it really was. So after 2 years of work, The Planets was completed. So a little bit about it. It's an orchestra suite and 7 movements, and I'll get back to that in just a second. Each movement is named after a planet and its corresponding astrological character. The planets are not presented in order, and the piece lasts about 50 minutes total. Now, there's more than 7 planets. We'll talk about why there's only 7 in just a minute. Movement 1 is called Mars, the bringer of war. About Mars as a planet. It is the 4th planet from the sun. It is the 2nd smallest planet in the solar system. It's also known as the red planet because of the iron oxide on the surface that makes it look red. It is a terrestrial planet, meaning it has some forms like it does here on Earth, and it has an atmosphere. It has 2 moons called Phobos, which is panic or fear, and Deimos, which is terror or dread. And those 2 characters in Greek mythology accompanied Ares, who is the Greek equivalent of Mars. Mars is the Roman god of war. Greek is the Ares is the Greek equivalent, and those 2 characters, Phobos and Deimos, would accompany Ares, the Greek guy, into battle. Now, a little bit about Mars as the Roman god of war. He is a military god. The Romans really liked have a strong military background, and they had festivals held in March and October. And March is especially important because March is actually named after Mars, the god of war in ancient Rome. Interesting little fact there. One more thing, the word Martian actually comes from the word Mars. It's kind of like where we might think of extraterrestrial beings come from Mars. So we're going to listen to it. Things I want you to think about. Does it sound like it could be from maybe a little sci-fi coming from the god of war? Let's listen to it. Are you ready to listen to Mars, the bringer of war? Let's listen. Hang on a second. I just lost my Mars, the god of war. Pause. All right, let's try this again. For Mars, here we go. Mars, the bringer of war. I'm going to switch to the end. We can go to the end. The end's a pretty cool part too. See if we can get that. So that's a little bit of Mars. I want you to listen to some more of it because I think it really sounds very much like something you would hear in a sci-fi movie or something like that. Let me know what you think. All right, I'll see you guys next time with another planet. Bye.